truth about third eye activation opening. If I told you that your third eye isn't mystical symbolism, it's an actual anatomical structure in the center of your brain that most people never learn to activate. Not your pineal gland, though that's part of the story. I'm talking about a documented neural network that controls your capacity for visualization, intuition, and non-ordinary perception. This isn't esoteric nonsense or wishful mysticism. This is hard neuroscience. Researchers studying consciousness and perception have identified a specific brain region, your dorsolateral prefrontal cortex, combined with your visual association areas that generates what neuroscientists call mental imagery and predictive perception. Ancient traditions call this your ajna chakra or third eye. Modern science calls it your brain's simulation and pattern recognition system. Here's what changes everything. This system is dramatically underdeveloped in most adults. Your capacity for vivid mental imagery, accurate intuition, and perceptual insight exists on a spectrum, and that spectrum is trainable. I'm about to reveal 10 specific protocols that activate and strengthen the exact neural pathways ancient practitioners access through decades of meditation, but you'll do it in weeks, using targeted neurological interventions. These aren't visualizations or affirmations. These are exercises that exploit your brain's neuroplastic potential to build the infrastructure for expanded perception. Your third eye isn't closed, it's atrophied from disuse. Time to rebuild it. BODY the 10 Techniquest Part 1 Visual Cortex Reactivation Protocol. Most adults have catastrophically weak visualization abilities. Ask them to picture a red triangle and they get a vague, flickering impression. Ask them to hold that image stable for 30 seconds and it dissolves immediately. Here's what neuroscience reveals. Your visual cortex, the occipital lobe at the back of your brain, can generate internal imagery as vividly as external perception. Functional MRI studies show that visualizing something activates nearly identical brain regions as actually seeing it, but this capacity atrophies without deliberate training. This is technique number 1 out of 10, the visual cortex reactivation protocol. Here's your exact practice, twice daily for 90 seconds. Close your eyes and visualize a simple geometric shape, a blue circle against a black background. Keep it stable. When it wavers or disappears, reconstruct it immediately. Increase complexity weekly, add a second shape, then color gradients, then movement, then three-dimensional rotation. The mechanism is straightforward. You're strengthening the neural pathways between your prefrontal cortex, which initiates the visualization, and your visual cortex, which generates the actual imagery. With consistent practice, these pathways myelinate, making visualization faster, clearer, and more stable. You're literally rebuilding dormant circuitry. Start with 2 minutes of daily visualization training and watch your mental imagery transform from vague impressions to high definition. Internal movies. Part 2 Darkness Adaptation Amplification Method. Your pineal gland, the pea-sized organ in your brain center that ancient traditions associated with the third eye, responds dramatically to light and darkness. Most people flood their eyes with artificial light until the moment they sleep. Research on pineal function reveals something remarkable. Extended darkness exposure increases melatonin production, which isn't just a sleep hormone. Melatonin has profound effects on neuroplasticity, DMT production, and altered states of consciousness. Your pineal gland is literally a gateway to non-ordinary perception when properly activated. This is technique number 2 out of 10, the Darkness Adaptation Amplification Method. Execute this protocol 3 times per week. Spend 20 minutes in complete darkness, no phone, no ambient light, blackout conditions. Sit comfortably and keep your eyes open, allowing them to adapt. Notice the visual phenomena that emerge: swirling patterns, geometric shapes, light particles. Don't create them consciously. Observe what appears spontaneously. Why this works: your visual cortex, deprived of external input, begins generating internal imagery automatically. You're also triggering your pineal gland's darkness-activated processes. Studies show that extended darkness increases theta and alpha brainwave activity, the frequencies associated with meditation, creativity, and intuitive insight. Start incorporating darkness sessions into your weekly routine and watch spontaneous visual phenomena become a gateway to non-ordinary perception. Part 3 Prefrontal Integration Enhancement Technique. Your third eye isn't just about visualization, it's about synthesizing information across multiple brain regions simultaneously. Most people process information sequentially, one channel at a time. Neuroscientists studying integrated information theory have discovered that higher consciousness states involve increased communication between distant brain regions, particularly between your frontal lobes and posterior cortices. This crosstalk enables what we call intuition, rapid pattern recognition, that bypasses conscious reasoning. This is technique number 3 out of 10. The prefrontal integration enhancement technique. Your practice is this: daily for 5 minutes. Place your attention simultaneously on 3 points: the center of your forehead, prefrontal cortex location, the back of your head visual cortex, and the center of your brain pineal region. Don't visualize these areas. Feel them from the inside. Hold tri-point awareness without letting your focus collapse into any single location. The neuroscience is elegant. You're training your brain to maintain distributed attention rather than focused attention. This activates your default mode network differently, increasing functional connectivity between regions that typically operate independently. You're building the neural infrastructure for integrated perception. Start practicing tri-point awareness and watch disparate information begin synthesizing into coherent insight without conscious effort. Part 4. Hypnagogic state extension systems. Moments between waking and sleeping. The hypnagogic state are when your third eye naturally opens. You see vivid imagery, receive insights, experience unusual perceptual phenomena. Then you either fully wake up or fall asleep. Research on consciousness states shows that hypnagogia involves a unique brain signature. Theta waves combined with bursts of alpha and occasional gamma. Your prefrontal cortex is partially deactivated while your visual and associative cortices are highly active. This creates the perfect conditions for non-ordinary perception. This is technique number 4 out of 10. The hypnagogic state extension system. Here's your intervention. Set an alarm for 90 minutes before your normal wake time for 7 consecutive days. When it sounds, don't move. Keep your eyes closed and body completely still. Observe the imagery, thoughts, and sensations that arise without engaging with them. Maintain this observer state for 10 to 15 minutes. Then either return to sleep or rise for the day. The mechanism leverages your brain's natural cycles. After 90 minutes of sleep, you're in later stages where hypnagogic phenomena are accessible. By remaining still and aware, you're training your consciousness to stay present during states that normally happen unconsciously. You're also strengthening your prefrontal cortex's ability to maintain meet awareness during altered states. Start capturing those transitional moments and watch the veil between ordinary and non-ordinary perception become permeable. Part 5. Binocular fusion disruption protocol. Here, normal vision involves both eyes working together to create a single, coherent image. This binocular fusion is so automatic you never think about it. But ancient practices discovered that disrupting this fusion opens unusual perceptual doorways. Neuroscientists studying visual processing have found that when you force your eyes into unusual positions or viewing angles, your visual cortex begins processing information differently. The normal suppression mechanisms that create unified vision relax, allowing you to perceive visual data that's typically filtered out. This is technique number 5 out of 10. The binocular fusion disruption protocol. Execute this sequence 4 times weekly for 3 minutes. Practice cross-eyed viewing. Focus on your nose tip or hold your finger to inches from your face until your vision doubles. Maintain this position while relaxing your eye muscles. Don't force focus, allow the doubled image to persist. Notice any visual phenomena that emerge in your peripheral or central vision. Why this works: you're interrupting your brain's automatic convergence mechanisms. This activates your visual cortex in novel ways, similar to what happens during certain meditative states. You're also engaging your superior colliculus, a midbrain structure involved in eye movement and visual attention in unusual patterns. You're hacking your visual system to reveal normally hidden processing. Start practicing binocular disruption regularly and watch your visual perception expand beyond its default parameters. Part 6. Chromatographic sensitivity. Training your ability to perceive subtle differences in color, light, and energy fields correlates directly with the sensitivity of your visual cortex and the activation state of your third eye. Most people operate with relatively crude color perception. Research on tetrachromacy and enhanced color perception shows that sensitivity to subtle visual distinctions is trainable. Your brain can learn to make finer discriminations in the electromagnetic spectrum. Ancient traditions that spoke of seeing auras were describing this enhanced perceptual sensitivity. This is technique number 6 out of 10. Chromatographic sensitivity training. Your protocol is beautifully specific, daily for 10 minutes. Practice subtle color discrimination. Use paint swatches or digital color wheels to observe nearly identical hues side by side. Train yourself to detect differences of 1 or 2% in saturation, brightness, or tone. Gradually increase the subtlety of the distinctions you're attempting to perceive. The mechanism involves neuroplasticity in your V for visual area. The brain regions specialize for color processing. With deliberate training, the neural populations that distinguish colors become more refined, allowing you to perceive subtler variations. This heightened sensitivity transfers to your ability to detect subtle energetic phenomena that exist at the edge of normal perception. Start training color sensitivity systematically and watch previously invisible gradations of light and energy become perceptible. Part 7. Pressure point activation methodation. Traditions develop specific physical techniques for third eye activation, particularly applying pressure to the center of the forehead. Most people dismiss this as superstition. They're wrong. Neuroscientists studying somatosensory stimulation have discovered that applying pressure to your forehead increases blood flow to your prefrontal cortex and activates mechanoreceptors that send signals directly to your brain. This is Imagic's mechanical stimulation of neural pathways. This is technique number 7 out of 10, the pressure point activation method. Here's your exact practice, twice daily for 5 minutes. Place your right thumb horizontally across the center of your forehead, about 1 inch above your eyebrows. Apply steady, moderate pressure enough to feel it clearly, but not uncomfortable. Close your eyes and maintain this pressure while breathing slowly. Notice any sensations, imagery, or awareness shifts that emerge. Why this works: you're stimulating your frontal bone's periosteum, which is densely innervated with sensory nerves. These signals activate your somatosensory cortex, which has extensive connections to your prefrontal and visual cortices. You're also increasing local blood flow, delivering more oxygen and glucose to the exact brain regions involved in visualization and intuitive perception. Start using targeted pressure stimulation and watch your third eye region become physically sensitized and energetically activated. Part 8. Rapid eye movement induction technique. Your eyes move constantly during REM sleep, the state associated with vivid dreams and visual imagery. What most people don't know is that you can induce similar brain states while awake using deliberate eye movements. Research on EMDR therapy and eye movement pattern shows that specific types of rapid eye movement activate your visual cortex and hippocampus in ways that mirror dreaming states. You can essentially trick your brain into dreamlike perception while fully conscious. This is technique number 8 out of 10, the rapid eye movement induction technique. Execute this protocol 3 times weekly for 2 minutes. Practice rapid horizontal eye movements. Keep your head still and move only your eyes from far left to far right, completing 1 full cycle per second. After 1 minute, close your eyes and observe any imagery or sensations that emerge. Maintain relaxed awareness for another minute. The neuroscience is fascinating. Rapid eye movements reduce activity in your amygdala, while increasing activity in your visual association areas. You're creating the neural conditions for visual processing without external input. Your brain begins generating internal imagery using the same mechanisms it employs during REM sleep. Start incorporating deliberate eye movement patterns and watch waking imagery become as vivid as your dreams. Part 9. Electromagnetic field sensitivity protocol. Your pineal gland contains magnetite crystals, the same magnetic particles found in migratory birds, that allow them to sense Earth's magnetic field. Your third eye is literally capable of detecting electromagnetic information. Neuroscientists studying magnetoreception in humans have found preliminary evidence that we possess rudimentary magnetic sensing abilities. While controversial, the research suggests your pineal gland may function as a magnetoreceptor when properly sensitized. This is technique number 9 out of 10, the electromagnetic field sensitivity protocol. Your practice is this for 30 days. Spend 5 minutes daily in natural settings away from electronic devices. Face different directions, north, south, east, west for 75 seconds each while maintaining internal awareness. Notice any subtle differences in how each direction feels. Don't create differences. Observe what naturally rises. The mechanism is speculative but grounded in biology. You're potentially activating your pineal gland's magnetite crystals. By removing electromagnetic interference and orienting your body to Earth's magnetic field, you're also training your interoceptive awareness to detect extremely subtle sensations that might correlate with directional orientation. Start cultivating electromagnetic sensitivity and watch your intuitive sense of space and direction sharpen dramatically. Part 10. Acetylcholine Optimization System. Your ability to generate stable, vivid internal imagery depends heavily on acetylcholine, a neurotransmitter crucial for attention, learning, and visualization. Most people's acetylcholine levels are suboptimal. Neuropharmacology research shows that acetylcholine is essential for cortical activation patterns associated with visualization and memory. Compounds that increase acetylcholine like alpha-GPC or huperzine dramatically enhance visual imagery in controlled studies. This is technique number 10 out of 10. The acetylcholine optimization system. Here's your intervention for 21 days. Implement these 3 acetylcholine supporting practices. First, consume choline-rich foods daily: eggs, liver, fish, or supplement with alpha-GPC 300 milligrams. Second, practice 15 minutes of memory recall exercises, vividly remembering past visual experiences in detail. Third, get 20 minutes of cardiovascular exercise, which increases acetylcholine release. Why this works? You're providing the raw materials your brain needs to synthesize acetylcholine, while simultaneously creating demand for it through memory work and exercise. Your cholinergic neurons respond by upregulating acetylcholine production. With increased acetylcholine, your visual cortex and prefrontal networks operate more efficiently, making visualization clearer and more stable. Start optimizing your acetylcholine systems and watch your capacity for mental imagery multiply exponentially. Closing these 10 protocols aren't isolated practices, they're components of a comprehensive system for activating the exact neural networks that spiritual traditions have called the third eye for millennia. Each technique targets a different mechanism: visual cortex strength, pineal activation, prefrontal integration, altered state access, perceptual disruption, sensory refinement, physical stimulation, eye movement patterns, electromagnetic sensitivity, and neurochemical optimization. Together, they create the conditions for your brain to operate beyond its default perceptual parameters. The ancient wisdom wasn't metaphorical. When Yo spoke of opening the third eye, they were describing actual changes in brain function, changes we can now measure, understand, and deliberately induce. Science has validated what mystics knew. There's a dormant perceptual capacity in the center of your brain. It's not supernatural, it's neurological, and it's trainable using specific, systematic interventions that leverage your brain's natural plasticity. Your transformation doesn't start tomorrow or next week. It starts the moment you commit to treating your third eye like what it actually is: a neurological system that strengthens with proper training and atrophies with neglect. The version of you that perceives beyond ordinary sensory limits, that synthesizes information intuitively, that accesses insight through direct knowing rather than logical deduction. That version exists right now in potential form. These protocols simply provide the training regimen to actualize it. Implement them with consistency and precision. Document what shifts. Trust the process even when results feel subtle at first. You're rebuilding neural infrastructure that's been dormant since childhood. Your enhanced self, the one who sees what others miss, who knows before they think, who operates from integrated awareness rather than fragmented perception, is waiting, not someday, today, right now. The only question is whether you'll do the work to activate what's always been there.